What's going on? Soulfly has a new album coming out on October 24th called either Chama or Shama. We're going with Chama. First single is Nihilist. Let's wake up the neighbors and get into it, Derek.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw a curveball at you. You had no idea I was going to do this, but I've listened to the whole record. The label sent it along.
Sneaky son of a biscuit.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but
well, you're not wrong there.
Any chance to make you look ignorant, I'm going to do it.
That's ignorant.
Fair. Yeah. So listen, let's talk a little bit first about the two releases, especially Nihilist, because that's what I had tasked you. What did you think of it?
I like it. It is very, as it should be, very Max. You know, all the projects that Max is a part of carry a big rubber Max stamp to them sonically for me. And this Soulfly track Nihilist is no exception. I like it. It's good. It's chuggy. It's modern, but has an old school flavor to it, which is fitting, again, because of Max, at the risk of repeating myself. I like the ssong.
Yeah, it's aggressive, very raw. Arthur Rizek. I hope I said it correctly. Yes. I usually butcher his name. I feel like he produces every record that we like, but Arthur is great. Max had said that he wanted to let Soulfly have a tribal groove power to it, big groove, big tribal sound. And, you know, here's the thing. Soulfly was created right on the back of Roots, and Roots is one of Sepultura's biggest records. And so Soulfly was a continuation of that. And then over time, it's gotten away. He's become more of a crossover thrash metal band. And this record does go back a little bit to that Roots sound and the early Soulfly stuff. But it's really mostly on that first release, Storm the Gates, which has some really good, tribal beats to it. But the one thing that stayed consistent in recent Max is riffs, hard-hitting thrash metal riffs, which is core to early Sepultura and continues to be a staple of his work. And this record is definitely produced with a more of a bassy nu metal feel to it. Very, very raw, very dirty. But once you get into this record a little bit deeper, it feels like another Max Cavalera thrash record, but here's the kicker. I feel like it feels like Nail Bomb a little bit more. There's some Nail Bomb in there, not so much the industrial part of it, but musically, sonically, it feels like, and it would stand to reason, at the time that he was writing and recording this, he was also playing a lot of Nail Bomb live at the time. And so this feels like, and when you get into the record a little bit more, once you get past Nihilist, like No Pain, No Power, it is such a Nail Bomb meets Roots meets Chaos AD track. It is fantastic. It is classic Max. Tons of reverb with his vocals, which I loved. The other track that was really great was Black Hole Scum. It's a banger. You can't help but headbang. Max sounds absolutely fantastic. He sounds like classic Max. And then Soulfly, I think it's 13 XIII. It's 13, I believe. It's a typical trippy, they always do the Soulfly, number 1, 2, 3, 4 right up. And this is the 13th album. So it'd stand the reason. It's a trippy trip. And then Shama kicks in and it starts off slow, but it ends up becoming one of the most classic Soulfly tracks ever. And it is the reason why Max named the record Shama, because it is a banger. And from front to back on the record, and again, I was bummed out. My dad passed away, so I decided to treat yourself.
What do we treat ourselves to?
Clothes.
Treat yourself.
Fragrances.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
Mimosas.
Treat yourself.
Soulfly!
Treat yourself.
It's the best day of the year.
And the label sent it to me, so I listened to it, and boy, did I listen to it. And I've listened to it probably 10 times, and it'll definitely be in my top 10 for the year, right along with Testament, right along with Spirit World. But this record is a return to the more tribal sound, but it's grittier. It still is rooted in thrash, and it has elements, a feel of Nail Bomb. So for those of you who like Nail Bomb, you're probably going to like this record.
Yeah, I always thought, Soulfly, and again, my exposure is, kind of limited to Soulfly. I've just It's never been super high on my list, but always had a little bit more new modern flavor to it, whereas a lot of his other projects tend to stick with the old school Cavalera vibe. And I liked this track because of that, I guess. It's like I lean more towards modern and, contemporary progressive metal and gent and that sort of thing. And so from a sort of presentation standpoint, this feels like a modern track, but it, like I said, it's got that Cavalera chug to it. It's got sort of a triplet pattern chug in there, and it's great. It just hits, and then it breaks loose, and then there's a gnarly breakdown there. It's a good song. And I bet live it's going to be one of their just powerhouse live tracks.
Yeah, if Max ever went out and had to play a best of, like, how the hell would he do it? How would he keep a set list of 14 songs when you look at his entire music library? It's like, holy crap! How do you do it?
I don't know. Somebody interviewed David Gilmour recently about his new live album that came out, the Luck and Strange live tracks, and they said, "How do you do it? How do you pick what songs you're going to use?" He said, "We all just sat down and listened and listened and listened and listened." And I thought to myself, what a horrible job to have to sit and listen to great live music. Well, those of the schmucks like us out there that go to the office for their day-to-day grind, to pay their mortgage and all that, don't have the pleasure of a rough day being, well, I had to listen to all the live tracks from my last tour. A little jealous.
Yeah. What's funny is getting into my father's estate in life, one of the things that came up was Alexa, and he used Alexa to listen to music. And he loved the Moody Blues. He loved Elvis. Weirdly, he loved Lady Gaga. And seeing his pattern of listening to music, I got to give the guy credit. He spent a majority of his retirement listening to the music that he either grew up with or the modern stuff that he really enjoyed. And I think it's really important as a reminder, on this podcast where we're talking about Max, who I love, to listen to the stuff you like a lot. Don't force yourself to go listen to stuff because maybe your friend thinks it's cool or that you feel like you should like it because they're on the cover of magazines or you're watching TV and it's a barrage of Taylor Swift. I have to like Taylor Swift because everybody else tells me I need to like it. Like what you like and enjoy it. And, going back to Max, I would say this record, I compared it to Totem, the previous record that came out in 2022. Totem, the first few tracks, Superstition, Scouring the Vial, Filth Upon Filth, Rotten Pain were great, but the rest of the track felt like filler to me. And this record, Chama, feels like a complete experience from the first track to the end. There's an ebb and flow to it. I'd be remiss to not say there are some slight black metal elements weaved in there because black metal is so popular. But and Testament did the same thing, just ever so slight. But it's a complete listening experience. Whereas I felt like Totem was a tale of two halves. The first half was really great. The second half was. It's okay, but it's forgettable. The second half, this is a really good experience, and I think that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think that fans of Max, Sepultura, Soulfly, Nailbomb, you name it, are probably going to find common ground with this record.
So, of the last three Soulfly records, where do you rank it?
I like Ritual the best. Yeah, so Ritual came out in 2018. I think that Ritual, the album cover, is absolutely magnificent. Dead Behind the Eyes is about the Cenobites in Hellraiser, which I loved. The Summoning is just a wicked, wicked banger. Evil Empowered is finger-tapping goodness. It is about corrupt politicians using their power to, do bad, do evil. Under Rapture is just almost like a death metal track. And it's just, Ritual to me is the best record Soulfly record that they've ever done. I know that's sacrilegious because there's people out there that love Jump the Fuck Up. But I think Ritual is the most complete. But I think Chama is definitely a step above Totem, and then Totem would be third.
Okay. How about over their whole discography? Where would you rank it?
Probably second or third. I would say.
That's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go against the first record. It just was so good. It was such a, the Soulfly, just Soulfly. That was the name of it. But as soon as you heard Eye for an Eye with that record, you knew that, okay, Max is going to be okay. Like Sepultura is gone, but this is classic Max. It's classic Sepultura. No hope equals no fear. Again, it was great. And then Bleed, his collaboration with Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit just worked for the time. And it's still kind of a catchy track today, especially with nu metal making a comeback. I suspect that he'll probably play Bleed again. And who knows, maybe Fred, who is also having a resurgence in recent years, might come out and join him. But that record was for its time was a hard hitter. It had Max doing this. It was an ode to a family member who had passed away. And so I think that that has to be, right up there.
3 words to describe the album: Chama by Soulfly.
Powerful, consistent, complete.
Ooh, okay. Nice. Well, all right. So the task then for me is to get in and listen to the rest of this record, which for the conversations of this podcast is pointless, but now I need to know. And as soon as any the general public gets the album on October 24th, let's see if we all agree with Derek, and we can all fight it out in the comments down below.
Yeah, let me have it. If you don't agree with me and you don't think it's better than most of the Soulfly material, then what's that hippo game?
Hungry Hippo?
Yeah, we'll do a Hungry Hippo fight over beers or whatever your poison is. Just let me know what your poison is.
All right. So look, great. I can say I like Nihilist. Derek loves the album. If you've made it this far and you like this sort of content, throw a comment down below, throw us a like, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the hell out of it. And
Sorry for throwing the curveball at you, but we needed to talk about the full record because it is worthy, and I think fans will love it. And if you're new to Max and you're new to this discography, this is a great starting point.
All right, excellent stuff, man. See you on the next one.